Indiana Fever and former Iowa star Caitlin Clark continues her ascension as one of the top figures in women's basketball and in sports. Time magazine named Clark as their Athlete of the Year.
Caitlin Clark College's WNBA success, superstar fame, and today's. It's an undisputed Athlete of the Year. Wonderful conclusion to a momentous season. Or is it only the start?
She broke the college basketball career scoring record in her senior season at Iowa, led the Hawkeyes to a second straight Final Four. She then turned pro, and as the number one pick in the WNBA draft, Clark won Rookie of the Year, led the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance in 8 years, and is the second female star to win the honor for Time magazine, following the footsteps of gymnastics great Simone Biles in 2021.
In a candid interview, Clark is splattering her roller with tea. Coaster Rookie Year after setting records. From highs to lows behind the scenes, these 10 things you'll discover. Doubting all you believed you. Was aware of the sports worlds. Clark, the brightest star, didn't hold back. And discloses everything during her Time article. From her alleged conflict with Angel. Ree was envious of the league when she entered. The league to her contentious Olympic dismissal and even to coach's termination. Christie's sides endure because at. Finally, we'll discuss her opinions on her off-season thoughts on the matter, about WNBA legends and her goals for her sophomore year.
I feel like so much has happened over the course of last year, from when I started my last college season and not knowing if that would actually be my last season, whether I was deciding to come back to college or turn pro, and now sitting here like I'm done with my first professional season and so much has happened. And
imagine Caitlin Clark onto the WNBA court for the initial. Expectations weigh heavily at this time. However, her serene manner says a lot. She is prepared to suppress those who have doubts, and she stunned them by silencing them. Clark broke a staggering record in his debut season, 62 WNBA records, which followed of her already outstanding academic achievements, where she achieved all-time NCAA top scorer between three-pointers and helps Clark rewrite the rookies record books in all possible ways, but her influence extended much beyond the statistics. Chris Clark's stunning performance made the entire Indiana Fever squad and made WNBA games a must-attend event. The Fever has to spread to larger arenas to accommodate the influx of people in Drew's regular season matchup with Washington, a new league record of nearly 20,000 spectators.
For the longest time, the WNBA has been trying to get on this global scale, and I feel like that's the direction they are finally headed. I think that WNBA fans have always been proud supporters and pushers of the advancements of this league, but sometimes it takes a certain star of a certain caliber to really just expand and explode the league from the inside out, and that's what Caitlin Clark is.
Shockwaves were sent via the Clark effect, via her shirt at Sports World. Sales soared, and she had a significant impact on league revenue. Was a first. Athletes make up almost 30% of the revenue from her whole league. Is a revolutionary achievement that is revolutionizing the state of women's careers. Let's go on to Clark's perspective on basketball, on her rookie's most juicy stories. The WNBA season.
Whether it was, making the national championship game or getting the Fever back to the playoffs since 2016, there's just a lot to be proud of. And it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment and kind of understand in the moment, but it's been fun to reflect on.
Caitlin Clark, however, breaching court records and the media sparked drama from it. The story of a very intense competition between Clark and Angel Ree became the main role, capturing followers' attention and sparking social media. But did this tale seem too wonderful to be true? Truth in a time-revealing interview. However, Clark clarified that I don't understand that at all, she murmured, ignoring the idea of a competition with Reese. She highlighted the fact that we're not the greatest. Not necessarily buddies, but we're really. Yes, we have shown mutual respect. Fought fierce battles, but when have I protected her at any point, and when has she protected me? And it's a valid point. In the heat of the moment, ignored. Include the contentious ring finger and my gestures are not visible to you during the I didn't face Clark in the college game. I thought it was teasing, but it wasn't. Annoy me, she disclosed instead of voiced annoyance that this fake drama took precedence over there. Amazing performances, would you mind? Talk about their victory or the amazing run that we undertook that no one anticipated that we would have ever continued.
But yeah, I mean, I think, what she's done with her platform has been absolutely incredible. And, she has an entire fan base that has supported her and what she did at, Maryland and then LSU. Like, obviously, I've played her for a very long time and she's been a tremendous player. So, it's been fun getting to compete against. I think it's been really good for the game. Like, people just love seeing great matchups.
Clark's statement focused clearly on the game rather than the rumors she exposed. People who are stoking the flames are saying a lot of those who wish to express their thoughts on most likely what was taking place didn't even watch half of the games. They're quite strong. A reminder to honor these sportsmen for their abilities on the floor, not fabricated drama away from it.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Clark's departure from university. She was quickly struck by a WNBA rookie and a superstar. The stark distinctions between college and pro ball. Her debut was difficult. The game was definitely a wake-up call. Yet a staggering 10 assists and only 3 breaks a record, but not the type that she want the flow she had perfected in. It was just so choppy. Clark, leaving college, acknowledged that nobody truly understood what she was talking while the other person was doing, concerning a team and coach that are still figuring each other out while adjusting to her particular once-in-a-generation play style and, in her words, the team's defense actually awful, but this is when things start to become intriguing. Never one to back down, Clark dug profound learning in every game her coach allowed her teammates to become more vigilant, them turnovers and her play her game. Even on difficult days, they began to decline. Clark remained confident throughout the night. This irritates me so much since it's almost like being one right there. Among the league's top players, she'd tell herself,
I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I feel like there's just so many areas that I want to improve in and to continue to get in the gym and work on that every single day.
Now, as she anticipates Clark's, I'm just a bright, ambitious person, she says, scraping the surface. Prepared to make a lasting impression on the WNBA. Are you prepared to watch Clark's next move on the global arena?
She, until the day before the Olympic team was leaked, was convinced she was going to be on the team. That is the maddest thing with USA basketball. Like, she was convinced she was on the team until the day before it was leaked. That's mental.
Caitlin Clark's journey to the top experienced and unforeseen bump in spite of her impressive 30.7 three-pointer game. Clark received startling information from her representative. She wasn't receiving it hurt the Olympic squad, but Clark's, rather than lashing, a genuine class reaction. Clark chose the high road out and she closed detailed justifications on why she should make the team for marketing purposes. I'm not interested in to be present since I'm someone who may draw attention, she stated. I'd like to be there since they believe I'm excellent. Sufficient. I don't want to be a little someone who is somewhat dragged around for individuals to be happy about and just observe as I'm seated on that entire story sort of offended me because it's unfair to me, inconsiderate of those who were on the group that deserved it and were pretty nice, but it's also rude. To me, Clark displayed amazing regard for the chosen players and even acknowledged her initial season challenges, yet this setback stoked a fire. Clark, under her post-Olympic sabbatical, utterly infuriated the league she oversaw. The Fever has won 4 straight games, placed among the top 3 for Bing following the fractured support and guiding the Fever and setting 3-point records to its first playoff appearance in almost a. Clark's gaze has been fixed on assembling the 2028 squad is a She stated a tremendous, huge objective. Her voice was full of resolve. The Olympic snub is only the start of Clark's pursuit of excellence, but her route hadn't always been smooth. Recall that If you've reached this point, you're a pook controversy. Far and are finding the video entertaining, don't. Remember to like, subscribe, and activate all alerts that we are aware of when viewing this. It takes some time to watch the video and we thank you. Let's get back to the action.
As everyone else has seen this angle. I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Caitlin Clark's an extraordinary season took an unexpected turn in a contentious postseason match. Routinely against the Connecticut Sun. By mistake, played a Carrington prodded in the eye of Clark, causing a media frenzy. However, Clark's answer was rather succinct. Rather than impressive, playing the victim or taking revenge, Clark calmly stood up for Carrington, recognized the intensity of competitive play and expressed disapproval of the endeavor by the media to produce needless drama. Her calm demeanor in the aside of Clark was exposed by the commotion, something many people had never seen before. Did it occur to me that it was on? She claims that I've been prodded in the I playing basketball a lot. Occurs during Clark Field's purpose discussion. Shows a double standard for gender. If it do you think that would have occurred in the NBA? Believe that individuals would have shattered the next day thinking, hey, Tyrese Halliburton did. You jab at Steph Curry's eye on purpose, she says.
Circling back on the play with your eye, what would you say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional and maybe even warrants a suspension?
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Wasn't the only difficulty Clark encountered in her first season. She had already had an eardrum rupture and was on being the victim of an excessive lot of flamboyant birds, but they hurled it. Clark never wavered in his commitment to the game and continued to show consideration for her fellow participants in the eye poke incident where, sadly, it eventually influenced popular opinion. View of Clark's personality. It demonstrated her capacity to remain loyal to her principles and maintain her attention on the game even in the face of hardship. Clark's calmness in this situation turned into one of her debut year's highlights, displaying her maturity both in and out of the spotlight. Court.
One of the things that Caitlin once again pushed forward is saying, look, I know that my star power has come with a lot of benefits in such a short amount of time, specifically her rookie season, but I also don't want to negate the fact that there was a lot of work done for me to even get to this point, for the league to get to this point, and I'm just excited to be part of the crew that's going to help just continue to grow and move this league forward.
Caitlin Clark's ascent to fame presented unforeseen difficulties in a frank interview in which she expressed feelings like the most contentious individual. Unexpected disclosure from the novice sensation who appeared to possess everything. Strong spotlight created a tornado of continuous social media use and media scrutiny. Rumors regarding her gaming personality and in her private life. Clark was at the focal point of discussions she didn't request, voicing dissatisfaction with the created drama to maintain a sense of groundedness. Clark took an unexpected tactic. Please refrain from using social media throughout this self-imposed media season. Blackout enabled her to focus on the most important thing about her performance on. Christie, her coach, is on the court. Liken the focus to Beatlemania. Admiring Clark's capacity to manage Clark's pressure through everything. Steadfast devotion to basketball shown. Even though I'm rather good at only, I don't care, she said, blocking it out. Remarks made against me focusing on the Clark hopes for a change in focus in the future. She desires the discussion to focus on the actual game, not the surroundings. Drama. Her point is obvious. Let's get back to basketball.
So many records she broke, not only in college, not only her rookie season. So much has been accomplished for the Indiana Fever. They broke the WNBA home attendance for a single franchise. I mean, I believe the Mystics and the Fever game was the most viewed WNBA game ever in history, single game attendance. So just so many things have happened in such a short amount of time on the back of Caitlin Clark. But I love the fact that she's also given credit where credit is due, because as we know, that was a big conversation when she entered the league, and she said, look, there's enough love to go around, and if you're not a fan of Caitlin Clark, I don't see how you read this article and don't become one.
Caitlin Clark's ascent to fame was accompanied by I desire a revitalizing dose of self-awareness. To claim that I've earned everything. However, there is privilege for being white. Clark claims that many of the participants in the league that has performed exceptionally well has. This league features some black players. Been constructed upon them, the more we can. Thank you for highlighting that discussion. Regarding it and then carry on with. Companies and brands spend money on those players that have qualified for this league. Amazing. I believe it's crucial that I must keep working to alter that. The more black women are elevated, that will be something lovely. Recall Clark's Saturday appearance. On Night Live, she made advantage of that enormous forum for honoring WNBA legends, such as Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, and Cheryl Leapson.
But it's just one step for the WNBA, thanks to all the great players like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, the great Dawn Staley, and my basketball hero, Maya Moore. These are the women that kicked down the door so I could walk inside. So I want to thank them tonight for laying the foundation.
That instance demonstrated Clark's profound honoring the heritage of the game while recognizing her strengths. Clark also maintains her conviction that she's gained her success by working hard and ability. Clark's point is obvious. Regardless, elevate all women in athletics. Of race, she is making calls utilizing her platform, requesting further funding for the athletes who made the WNBA amazing. It's a strong position from a young celebrity who is aware of that the foundation of her success is the giant's shoulders. Clark highlights the significance of recognizing and showcasing the contributions made by black women athletes. View it as a means of make the industry more positive.
Huge overhaul of the organization as they move into the big time. A new team president in the door, a new general manager in the door, and now a new head coach in the door as Christy Sides was shown the door.
As Clark was creating, the Indiana Fever's headlines were trembling. Behind-the-scenes activities of the team, choice to swap Christy Sides with head coach Stephanie White, captured the interest of everyone, including Clark. Their standout player is renowned for her sincerity. Wasn't reserved while talking about the difficulties we faced under Sid's direction. Didn't often have the greatest strategy. Back, she acknowledged, implying the group's battles on the court, but currently with there's a fresh vigor at the wheel. White Clark's passion is palpable in the air as she discusses the coaches White's experience with a strategic approach, highlighting her prior accomplishments as the leader of the excitement surrounding the WNBA playoffs provides important information for the team regarding Clark. It's an opportunity to develop her abilities and adjust to a more sophisticated playing style.
It's our job then as coaches to continue to put them in positions to succeed, and our job as a franchise to put the pieces around them that will fill some of the gaps and fill some of the holes, and ultimately our goal is to win championships and to hang banners.
The rising celebrity is fast to elucidate her part in all. In fact, the general manager from the team, she makes jokes about highlighting her emphasis on playing while the Fever gets ready for predictions for the next season. Are jogging with her colleagues, Hi Clark, are excited to begin this next phase in Clark's history of basketball in Indiana. There is no denying talent on the court, but as she is entering the role of the WNBA's new face, an emphasis that goes much beyond the basket, who is only 22 years old, negotiating a league that is renowned for its powerful. Clark's understanding of social action, authority, and accountability that accompany. There's just so much you can do on her platform. She acknowledges that she can police on social media, but there is actual accountability that I recognize that, and I realize that. Her strategy for activism is methodical, and Clark is enthusiastic and mature for a rookie, about establishing a more secure and welcoming WNBA atmosphere, but she's also conscious of the difficulties associated with voicing her opinions on delicate subjects as she still trying to establish herself in the. For the WNBA, pros, Clark has one vision of solidarity and advancement. She's resolved to have a positive influence, raising the game and its participants in any manner that she able to perform both on and off the court.
I gotta ask you a basketball question. I know that you work really hard in the off season. You said yesterday you're always trying to get better. What's the thing that you're working on in this off season?
I think, honestly, besides the actual basketball skill part of it, I think getting stronger, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm in the weight room a lot, just building that strength. Obviously, it was hard going right from the college season to the professional season. You don't get to spend a lot of time in the weight room, so that's what I've tried to focus on the most here. And then obviously, a lot of things on the court. I'm always wanting to get better, and that's kind of what drives me, and I love it. I love getting to do it, and I feel very fortunate that it's my job.
As Caitlin Clark concludes her first season, broke records, already preparing for the next step, passing up the new 3-on-3 league. Unmatched, Clark clarified that I didn't dominate, out carrying it out later on, but this year is simply not ideal for me, she explains, implying that she has larger intentions. Clark's off-season strategy is everything about becoming more shrewd and powerful. She's working out hard and concentrating on constructing the physique required to dominate throughout her sophomore year, but her approach consists of more than merely. Clark is returning to strength training. Her mid-range game is a secret weapon that I never had a midi bag, but I used to have one. Clark disclosed that in order to utilize it, she's resolved to include this essential component in her attacking approach against Arsenal is a wise one. It could increase her effectiveness even further. On the court, Clark is aware of her greatest. The physical defense teams present a challenge. Hurl at her team's most effective strategy of I'm being physically restrained by her. Acknowledged that she is getting ready to refute this, both physically and psychologically, to manage the strain.
I feel like basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast, and then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team and kind of move on and put all that behind me and help this team, get back to the playoffs. So I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
Clark combines exercise and relaxation. Her attention is evident that she isn't only keeping her abilities but actively seeking to increase, and her strategy, with her goals focused on strengthening and honing her mid-range shot and being accustomed to playing physically. Clark is establishing the foundation for an even improved performance in the sophomore year.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
Smart history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Clark's influence on the WNBA has been substantial. Her team's games now need bigger locations with NAHL and NBA arenas in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Las Vegas. Stepping in to make room for expanding, fans arrive in large numbers. Wearing the number 22 jersey that Clark wore, the league's involvement in social media saw a sharp rise, with Clark's prominence making analogies to significant sports stars. Her accomplishments have generated a growth in the number of young basketball players, as young females nationwide discover motivation in her performances. From the impact of court, Clark is changing the media industry for women's basketball. Sponsorship agreements and coverage have increased, opening up new possibilities for league sports. Business analysts remark how her celebrity is expanding the women's sports appeal.
Such an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like there's so many people that are showing up in Fever gear. It's really affecting, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
Clark is concentrating on her future, a fact I'm only beginning to explore. Of what I am capable of, she continues, implying Caitlin's goals outside of basketball. Clark's first season is the start of a longer narrative in women's. Clark's second season with the sports, the Indiana Fever, appears to be thrilling with a comprehensive training camp, and Stephanie White Clark, the new head coach, is keen, in particular, to foster team camaraderie with exceptional colleagues such as Kelsey, Lexi Hull, and Mitchell Aaliyah Boston. The relationship between her and Clark, fellow Fever stars, are already powerful. Paul became aware of Clark's popularity, claiming that individuals were actually running after us, or Caitlin, if I may. This provides us with a look of the airport, the rumors about the young phenom coach, and the new administration of the Fever. White's playoff background may open Clark, the team's potential, is enthusiastic regarding White's strategy and prepared to step up her game to take the lead in Fever to success in goal setting. Clark isn't for the forthcoming season. She confidently said, "I thought, while holding back, Indiana could be able to make it to the championship when informed that individuals could chuckle at her assumption that she doubled. I was being very serious. Are you?" Prepared for the sophomore year of Caitlin Clark's season as the WNBA should be. Caitlin Clark had an incredible first season of historical records that she broke, drew enormous spectators, and the basketball. The world is burning, but Clark's influence endures. Beyond her amazing numbers, her ability to handle difficult situations with maturity, circumstances in which she respects the game's legends, and her outlook on the future truly made her stand out. Clark's incredible. Her poise off the field and her ability on it had already left a significant impression on the WNBA, but she's not content to end there because as we look to the future, Clark's goals are evident. She has ambitious ambitions to keep going forward for women's basketball, with Clark setting the standard for the sport's future is more radiant than ever. Are you willing to watch what she does next? Let's understand in the comments, such as subscribe and activate every alert so you never click the video on the screen to avoid missing it. And we'll see you at the following one.